Gametez, you know him, you love him, but just what is the lore behind this elusive tank engine? And just how did he meet his end? Here is my take on his lore, a sort of headcanon. Gametez is an Athenial and Sons Co. Limited Standard B Class 28 OT. He arrived on the railway in April 1921 as an 08 OT tank engine alongside his twin, Gilbert, an 060. We will talk about Gilbert in a future video. Gametez was painted drab green, and had his name painted in white on his water tanks. He had two domes, unlike his twin, who only had one, a cone-shaped smokestack, and long water tanks that had an overhang on the front. He was purchased to work the Solomon H. Gallagher Coal and Coke Limited mines with Stonemason, soon to be renamed Spitfire, while Gilbert was to run expresses with Elmira. On his first few days, Gametez proved to be a rough rider, which was later rectified by an extension of his footplate in front and adding a front pony truck, making him a 28 OT. His riding wasn't improved much, but it was an improvement nonetheless. Sometime around the mid to late 20s, the crews got fed up with his poor steaming capabilities, and one of the men assaulted him with a crowbar, damaging his exterior and knocking off his steam whistle. It was soon replaced with an electric klaxon horn, which is powered by a steam-driven dynamo generator near his cab. The horn was unique to him and had a very distinctive sound. Over the next several years, Gametez had some very strange happenings go on around him. He became more difficult, and in some cases, downright dangerous to drive. He would, quote, sporadically misbehave when in use, his movement hampered by sudden and violent jerks. He also seemed to discharge his horn by himself. After a certain incident with yet another crowbar, Gametez was reported to become even less tolerable, and went so far as to injure anyone who tried to drive him. In one instance, an experienced locomotive driver was thrown out of the cab, breaking his wrist. Then, things came to a climax in the early 30s when Gametez was relocated to the limestone quarry, and a severe accident occurred. Several people were hospitalized, or even killed in an accident caused by Gametez. He was claimed as cursed. Solomon Gallagher, Gametez's owner, passed of the claims of a cursed engine as nothing more than children's stories, but he couldn't deny that most workers flat-out refused to operate Gametez, so he had him locked up in an unused mineshaft. When questioned as to why he didn't have Gametez sold for scrap, Mr. Gallagher responded with, "Have you ever heard of the term, better safe than sorry?" and Gametez was left in the mineshaft, until years after the railway's closure in the late 40s, and some preservationists found him, restored him, and renamed him Gerald. But he was soon destroyed in a shed fire caused by then unknown circumstances. And that is the story of Gametez, at least, my version of it. Hope you enjoyed it.